Happy transitions, family. Happy Sunday here in the United States. I was actually just making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and some insight came through. As we know, the downloads arrive whenever they arrive, collective messages. There was something about support that was coming through, and it was just like, okay, let's just unpack this and organically allow this to come forward and through. And I'm going through this as well, and so I want to share a little bit about what I've gone through during these processes, and kind of just what's coming through very organically from the soul and from the streams of consciousness that are flowing through right now. It's regarding support. Okay. There is a universal support network that is in place that is assisting us in the transition point from the old world support network into what we would call a new earth support network. Okay. When we begin this process of transitioning between support networks, so going from the 3D based illusory carrot on a stick style of supports, when that dissolves and we begin a transition point into a new earth support system, more of a quantum unity based support system that is held up by the unified field and the unified collective, our internal support systems start to fall. And as a result, we might not feel like we're supported or we're taken care of by our environment or by our reality. And what's coming forward as a part of this message is to really step forward into the organic support networks, right? So do what you can to feel supported in the organic support network. What's an organic support network? What makes one support network organic or inorganic? Well, when I speak of the organic support network, I'm speaking of Gaia. Okay. So being out in nature, witnessing the grand support that we have around us in regards to the frequency of Gaia and what she offers in her Rainbow Bridge technology for us. One thing I always tell people is, like, if you don't feel like you're supported, right, go get your spine rested on a tree and allow the tree to support you. Lay down on planet Earth, allow Gaia to support you. This is a part of that organic support system, and the merging with Gaia that a lot of people are going to be going through is that activating that Gaian frequency within is what opens up the Rainbow Bridge and the Rainbow DNA for us to be able to access the higher realm trajectories and more of the organic pathways and the organic timelines. So even myself, I find myself in moments, because of what I'm going through with an internal collapse, tower moment, a purification of mind, body, soul, is that when that occurs, when there's a squeeze point, right, a rinsing of ourselves, such as kind of what I'm currently going through, we get stripped bare of everything, including resources. It's just what occurs. It's a natural part of the reset in our own lives. And I've had so many of these where I've had my universe even say, okay, you need to go drain your bank accounts and do things like this, start creating that space, right? So when we're in an in-between passageway, like I've been speaking of, or a void, right? And we're transitioning between collective groups, we're transitioning support systems, we're transitioning to different crystalline communication networks. We're transitioning homes, jobs, careers, whatever we want to state it as. A part of that in-between passageway is the discarding of all of those old systems within us, or discarding that which no longer serves. It's a part of the choice point that I spoke about in yesterday's video, the dissolution process. And so a part of creating that space is it's the rinsing, right? So it's internal. It's a cleansing of our emotions, cleansing of our belief systems, cleansing of our physical body, cleansing of our mental body. And it's also a cleansing that can occur within our own home, and how we can create that space to make room for the new pathway or the new support network that's showing up. But the real important thing is that in which you feel you are lacking within your own reality is going to be shown and witnessed, so we can let it go and begin to fill up in that supportive frequency within ourselves, right? It's a part of the transitioning into a new support system. Especially when a lot of people begin to discover there's a light body that we all have a light body, and how do we support that light body? How do we support the soul body? How do we support the heart? How do we support this beautiful crystalline intelligence that exists within us? So a lot of this space creation too is many people are beginning to exit stage left out of a lot of people's realities, losing friendships, losing relationships. You know, there is no loss, but it's like the kind of the universal redirect in the form of a tower moment for many of us. Okay, so then it really is about when we're transitioning support networks, okay, and recognizing that we're kind of going to, many of us are going to be beginning to switch into a new earth economy, right, which is a completely different way of operations. So like, yes, here in the United States we're still working with the US dollar, right? So it really isn't about that. It's about how do we support, uplift, and inspire one another that are in the new earth trajectories and create more of this quantum support network. Okay, so while we're going through that transition point into that, you know, a part of the expulsion that needs to occur is letting go of all the old abundance structures, the old limiting beliefs, the old thought forms, the old ways of creation and creation point awareness and what we're creating in our own world. And then it's beginning the new internal support and accessing the organic support systems. Okay, so the organic support systems are going to be everything Gaian related, right? So eating more of a plant-based diet, accessing more raw fruits and vegetables. That's going to assist with the Rainbow Bridge DNA, and accessing that archive within us to be able to step into that remembrance of the living libraries and the caves of creation and the wisdom within that we hold within our DNA. And it's a part of that new universal support network is allowing the new systems to support us. The thing is many of us recognize now, as our sensitivity is increasing, that the old value systems and the old distractions no longer hold a resonance, or they're really kicking up really loud in our environment and in our reality to let us know that it really isn't supporting our organic role here on Gaia, but it's not supporting the soul drive anymore. It's not supporting the purpose. So some of these still might be, and this is going to be different for every single individual, but I'm noticing it myself. It's like the old routines just aren't working, right? Like the old things that we used to go to assist in whatever way, shape, or form as we were traversing our own awakening and ascension just aren't working. So now is, okay, we're transitioning into a new support network. How can we honor that transition? And it's by really supporting ourselves, right? And overriding the mental faculties and the ego body and the carbon-based body that want to keep us in those old systems, because it's now the soul drive and the soul power that's moving the momentum forward, and as a result, physical body collapse can occur really quickly. Thought form collapse, right? And not saying that we just lose the thought form, but it's like all of a sudden it just gets so loud that we've got no choice but to switch into this really organic navigation point of the feeling state of the heart. So as we're transitioning, right, and witnessing that a lot of this is occurring, can we embrace the celebration of the new that is calling us forward here and now? And I've spoken about this a few times in videos, but it's really prevalent right now in the energetics and in the sequencing that's showing up in my own reality and in the unified field. Are we hearing the cries of the old world or the celebration of the new world that is guiding us home, right? And so once again, it's like we can see this in the form of, is it a new support network? Is it a new collective? Is it a new friendship? A new home? Whatever new means to you, right? Because we're all going through this passageway and we're calling forward new in some way, shape, or form or capacity, even if it's a new form of creation or a new form of self being born. Are we hearing and witnessing and listening to the cries of the old and the collapse, or are we feeling into the celebration of the higher realms that are guiding us forward back into that light and that source consciousness within us, or whatever that new is for us? Okay, it's another part of just perspective, right? It's a part of the witnessing, because as we're here, 0 point, right? We're here at 0 point recognition and we're going through an unraveling. There's going to be a lot of noise and disturbance that we can hear within and without in the field, okay? So, and a lot of that we have to recognize is a crumbling of an old system and an old structure within us. It's our cells breaking down that which no longer serves, and our body beginning to shed it from our system. But as a result, we might have a vocalization or a lot of feelings or feel the chaotic, right? It's a bubbling up. It's kind of like the snow globe effect. We take that snow globe, we turn it upside down or shake it up, and there's a flurry, right? So as a result, as the flurry is occurring, where is our perspective going? Are we going to keep attaching to the cries of the old system that are falling from within us at a cellular level, and we're hearing it, and thus it's being projected out into the field as we're witnessing it? Or are we hearing into the feeling space of the celebration of the new journey that's arriving for us, as long as we create that space, right? And then how do we dissolve the noise, okay, of the system that is crumbling from within us? What brings you into peace? What is going to assist in silencing the mind? How can we go into a place of feeling in the body, rather than attaching to the script or the narrative that's screaming very loud because it doesn't want to go, right? So then for us, it's going to be, how do we soften and dampen the noise? What does that for us? I'm noticing through this transition that actually distraction-based techniques aren't working, right? So there's some level of integration that occurs for us, where we can do things like turn on a good movie, read a good book, whatever it might be for us, that really does assist in kind of softening the edge of that crumbling that's occurring over here, back here, however, it's all quantum, so it's all now. But I always see in this, I kind of have a viewpoint of more of a linear scope. Even though it is quantum, the linear scope is, past, present, future, even though they're all existing in the now. So we see this thing back here kind of in the background that's crumbling and crying, right? And we just let that fall, keeping our focus forward. But the distraction-based techniques sometimes just don't work anymore, right? Especially if we're going into old patterns or old territories to distract from not hearing the crumbling that is occurring from within. So then the question is, what do we do, right, as a collective, individually, to support ourselves through that process? And this is where the organic support networks come in. Connecting with the organic elements, the organic fire, water, earth, air, ether, right? Connecting with that. Go out into nature as much as we can. I understand for some people in their environments it might be difficult. Like for me right now, I have to just stay inside a little bit. So then I go kind of every so often go outside and just go connect with the trees. Go connect with the birds, connect with the animals, and just sit there and just bask in the glory that is the organic support system and the organic support network, and allowing that Gaian support to come forward and through and to support and uplift and elevate us, right? It's an important part of the process, because as the human is dissolving what it's dissolving, we might not feel the support of other humans. It's normal, right? It's completely normal for that to occur, because those representatives or archetypes in our reality might be serving as old support networks, and as a result, the universe is going to make space for that programming to dissolve and for you to upgrade and realign to the newer support network or an organic support network, or however we want to frame it, right? So then as a result, leaning into the invisible support, right? Tuning into the breath, tuning into your guides, tuning into your soul, tuning into the energy, into the unified field, feeling the support of the divine around you. But also, if it does need to be more tangible for you too, right? Get out into nature. Go feel the support of Gaia underneath your feet. Feel your spine supported on a tree. Lay down, feel that full body support, and melt into that relaxation point of just being with Mother Nature, right? It really will assist all of us as we are anchoring and transitioning into the newer support roles and the newer support networks that are alive and active. And so it's just something I wanted to talk about a little bit, about this feeling of not feeling supported and what's occurring, right? So at a cellular level, I talked about this, the old safety mechanisms are going, which a safety mechanism, if you think about it, is a support network. But in regards to freedom in the higher trajectories, when those safety mechanisms and those support networks fall, it's important for us to lean into in a healthy way, right? So we're not leaning on as a crutch, but we're leaning into the support of the New Earth organic Gaian focused trajectories and what that support feels like, because it is a feeling space that we access first before we actually begin to witness the arrival of that in our reality. Whether it is a navigation point into a new area, meeting new people, the reality has to catch up. But as a result of that reset and the reality catching up, we don't have to do a lot other than to support the self and to support the body, to support, nurture nature within us. So what activates that support within us? The tree network. The crystalline tree network is really good at being able to dampen and soften noise within our own field. Go connect to a tree. If it's getting noisy, go connect to the crystalline tree network. They really do want to assist you. And there's a few different trees that are coming through right now. As a result of this, the two main ones that I'm seeing are the redwoods, are really good with softening that support. And for me, I have a very close connection to the willows, to the weeping willows. The weeping willows are very much so a more grandma energy and very nurturing and very loving and very supportive, right? And so if you have a weeping willow in your area, go lean on it, or just intend to speak to the grandmother energy, which is of the weeping willow, or any of that grandmother energy for you, whatever it might be, is really supportive in this more elder, feminine, crone energy that we're all kind of feeling the support of in this process of transition, right? Is more of that elder support, that elder wisdom. And what's really beautiful about connecting to the tree network in that way is they access that level of our DNA within us to remember our living libraries, to remember our elder and our ancient wisdom, and they really want to come forward and assist us in remembering our sage aspects and our elder aspects. And, you know, we don't have to go into the feminine masculine split. It's just a unified representation of, because, you know, I was speaking of the willows as a grandma energy, but at the end of the day, it really just is about a universal support network and how they want to work with us in our DNA to access our living libraries, and to assist in us activating more of our rainbow bridge DNA, so we can create that transition point into a softer, easier life for ourselves. But a lot of it is that if we can no longer trust humans, right, at some level for whatever's going on, and this isn't for me, but it feels very prevalent in the energetics and in the field, if we can't trust humans while we're going through our process of clearing all that, let's lean our trust into different supports, such as Gaia, such as the trees, such as the animal kingdoms. I even find this too, if I'm working through a lot of, you know, galactic stuff, I lean more into my elemental presence, working more with like the fairies and the dragons, more of the elven energy, more of the inner earth energy. And if there's stuff going on, you know, in the elemental realms for me that I'm clearing, I lean more in the galactic or the ancestral line, right? So for you, it's going to be really important, for all of us, it's going to be important to find what supports us and to lean into that for right now as our own support networks are falling. Because once again, it's a transition point into a new collective or a new way of supporting ourselves, or an entire new field and realm of people that we're going to be guided to synchronistically through magic, and through our own form of soul-driven creation that's going to align us to those perfect, divinely inspired people, places, and situations that are going to support us, right? So keep supporting yourself, right? Do what you can to dissolve the internal noise as it's being kicked up through the field. There's a lot of clarity today that's coming through. It feels like it's a really big breath of fresh air, and it's not nearly as noisy as it has been. But as a result, if this is occurring, this message wanted to come forward and through for someone here, whether it's for the entire collective of subscribers here, to a stranger, or to one individual. This message wanted to come forward and through very prevalently for someone who's here, right? And to just begin accessing our own internal supports, and leaning into those organic Gaian focused supports, because that's where the crystalline collective lives, is within those realms, right? So I love you all. Much love and respect to everyone out there. And with that, I will see you sometime soon. Ciao.